you. I'm leaving Iraq. Black people ain't going through that shit. Y'all ain't, black kids ain't embarrassing the black parents. We ain't gonna be out there like that. Get in. Get in. I ain't gonna tell you no more. Get in. Black people hire a motherfucking sniper. Come here. Motherfucker, that's my child. Do what the fuck I say. Okay? Do what the fuck I say. Shoot him in his ass right now. Now, I don't want you to kill him. I want his ass to fall hard. Next time that motherfucker come to a mall, he'd be limping. Motherfucker go in the Foot Locker. Give me one shoe.
There really is a difference between white women and black women. And I've dated both. Yes, I have. Black women get on you right. What? Yeah, see, already done. Right on. Ain't gonna give me no pussy, but right on. Right on, motherfucker. Beg me. I'd rather you not have no pussy. You gotta fuck a white one. Now, fuck you. I'm gonna fuck. But white women take more shit. Like, you be at home, you know, and shit. You get ready to go out, and you say, I'm going out, baby. Take it easy. Okay. Have fun to look. You say that to a black woman, the bitch start dressing too. Yeah, nigga, me too. Shit, what the fuck? Yeah, use a line, motherfucker. You think you gonna have it on me? And they get that head to move. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, you right. Yeah, just try to do something to me, nigga. Bitch, I'll knock you down. Well, we gonna be some fight, motherfucker? And you talk about kicking a black woman ass, they different. They don't play that shit to me. Yeah, motherfucker, well, it be some ass kicking. Yeah, but your mama gonna know about it, nigga. Hey. White women fight like, oh, please. Black women doing, yeah, motherfucker, come on. Yeah. And may knock you out. White women, they freaky too. White women suck your dick right away. Black women, you have to beg them for months to get some head. You be begging 2 and 3 months. Say, babe, how about tonight? But you promised. You say if I wait 2 months, fuck how? I'll just try it. Shit. Don't matter, just don't bite. White women give it up so sweet. You know, they give it up so sweet. No. You know, you suck on their pussy and shit, they lick their fingers and shit. They're good. Black women, you be sucking their pussy. Wait, nigga, well, shit. A little more to the left, motherfucker. You gonna suck the motherfucker? Get down. And you can fuck white women if they don't come. They say, it's all right. I'll just lay here and use a vibrator. A black woman, talk about your ass. Well, nigga, that's some side dick. Well, is that it? No, you got to grind in my pussy. Oh, well, nigga, fuck me, shit. Don't put my legs down, motherfucker. You said pussy, not stomach. Cause niggas try to hurt a pussy boy. Niggas act like pussy is the last thing they ever gonna get. When they be fucking young motherfucker.
J. Thomas. J. Thomas. J. Thomas. J. Thomas. I'm laughing laughing over here, you're laughing over there. So sit right back and you hear the tales of a funny man. Steve is on his left, Christina is so right. Listen right now on demand, they'll get you through the night. J. Thomas. J. Thomas.
All right, coming to you from our Los Angeles studios, very close to, kind of close to Hollywood. Everything is just so far away, and I lived in Los Angeles. Now I live like 2 hours north, and everything is bright and everything is clean. And I'm put up downtown Los Angeles, which when people come out here, I have no idea what they think. But most downtowns, there's the downtown, and then there's like, the suburbs or whatever, or like some little pocket neighborhoods or whatever. Los Angeles has this huge downtown with these giant buildings, giant hotels. The hotel I'm in, I don't know, must have 3,000 rooms. And it's right in the middle of downtown. And if I can borrow a word from NCIS New Orleans, that I just happened to guest star in that episode, Steve. So that's part of the word. Confluence. It's located at a confluence of the 5, the 101, that's a big word, and the 110. It's all, when you look out of your window, you just see the freeways everywhere. And then you've got restaurants and stuff. But there is absolutely no feeling of anything. It's like I walked 4 blocks to a sushi bar last night. It was recommended to me by the woman at the hotel. And so, there were some homeless people. There were some restaurants, a couple semi-fast food kind of places. It was about 5:30, and there were a few people, or they were getting the hell out of there. There's absolutely no soul to it. None whatsoever. Zero. And for those of you that ever come to L.A., you don't even have to venture downtown. And they have, concert venues, and Disney has something or other, and there's a theater and whatever. I lived here forever. And years ago, it was just, and it still is. It's gang members and homeless people. That was it. Now they've rebuilt it. Now, billions of dollars. It's because Los Angeles was founded. You ever see that movie they're showing, the 31 Days of Oscar, on, I guess, Turner Classic Movies, whatever it is? Grapes of Wrath. And it shows the poor downtrodden from the Dust Bowl in, like, Kansas and Iowa and Nebraska, wherever the drought was. And they pack up Ma and Pa Kettle's beat-up car, and they get, Henry Fonda in the back of the car. And horrible shit happens, and they're hit in the head by the owners of the railroad and the whole thing. And at the end of the film, they head west by the millions. And they landed in Los Angeles, where it had been kind of Hispanic. Well, the first thing they did is they just went totally against anything Hispanic. And they had absolutely no sophistication whatsoever. And now they were the founding fathers and mothers of Los Angeles. That's what it looks like it looks. Italians and Chinese people went to San Francisco. People from all over the world went to San Francisco. That's why it looks the way it looks. New York City, same thing. New Orleans, same thing. Not Los Angeles. And everyone goes, well, what about the movies? A bunch of really wealthy, mostly Jewish men who own movie theaters decided to move west. They were going to go to Miami, and that's not a joke. But it rained too much. But they could buy all of this land for nothing, and the sun shined a lot, but it rained. Someone said, Los Angeles, it doesn't rain. And the weather's really pleasant, and there are no bugs. And you can get the land for pennies on the dollar. Just, even if you drive around, there's nothing underneath the land. It was the desert right up to the ocean. And they watered it and they put stuff. And so they built these giant studios, and they could go shoot cowboy movies up in the hills within 10 minutes of what Hollywood. They bought it around Hollywood. They didn't do anything with downtown. They left the Hispanic people down there. And the train station, I guess. That was about it. That was it. And so then they had this made-up world, and they lived way the hell out there. Even that isn't historical. It's all fake. It's all, like, crazy and weird. And then nobody ethnic came here except Mexicans that had been, run off their land or whatever and reduced. It's so crazy. I'm watching Chris Rock and thinking about what he's doing, and I'm driving around LA going, man, this is like this big, cold place, right? Do you really think any of these producers after the other night are going to be offering Chris Rock any movie roles? He wants to make more diverse movies. He better take some of his millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and start doing it. Because I don't think he and Spike Lee, because they haven't had a hit in a long time, I don't think he and Spike Lee are going to be able to walk in. Yeah, this is a rough group out here. This is a rough group. People aren't all pals and everything else, and women talk like men. And when black people are put in charge of schools or the Oscars or whatever, they become white people. It's everybody here, including the guy like me, curly hair, half Sicilian. I come here, I want to make sure that I can play anybody but, like either the Jewish lawyer or the Italian guy, because that's all you're going to ever play. That's it. And so I'm, nothing gigantic, but I wasn't ever typecast. Yeah, it's a boring, boring place. And you go, what about Hollywood? Well, that's seedy. That's really seedy. And then you go out to the studios. They're like an hour from downtown. They're out in Culver City. There's nothing there. The beach is huge, and you can go to those beach towns. Those are cool. And then I don't know what else there is out here. I don't even know why anybody moves out here. It's the oddest place to me. And once I left my backyard when I lived here, I was miserable. Once I had a little swimming pool and a nice little house, and I tried to drive somewhere. So today I'm all stuck in traffic. It took me an hour or so to get probably 14 miles, and it was like at 11:30. Just the strangest place. And I never really get a chance to stay in L.A. Or I'll stay at, like some cool, I'll go out to like Santa Monica or whatever. And then everybody here wants to be in show business. I've told you this before. I was at a high school football game to see a deaf linebacker because they were talking about doing a movie of the week years ago. And they wanted me to see this kid that was a deaf linebacker, Steve. They have a few deaf players, around various leagues. Yeah. And a referee gets close to me, and at halftime, he runs to his car and gets me a script. First of all, I couldn't get a script made. And secondly, what referee has a script, in his car? A buddy of mine is a TV producer. This plumber was fixing his sink once, and it was like Saturday, and my buddy was home. And I think there were some awards or there were some names or whatever. Before that plumber left, he got a script out of his truck and handed it to my pal. Not that, it couldn't have been a good script. I don't know. I have no idea what it was. It's just, it's sad. It's sad. And the cars, everybody has some kind of fabulous car or whatever. Who knows where they live or what they do. And the Oscar thing the other night, I mean, the numbers were terrible. I would have thought that the numbers would have been huge. I would have thought that black people would have tuned in to see Chris Rock just beat the piss out of these elite white assholes. And by the way, I think they're all assholes too. They don't do anything for me. Fuck them. When's the last time you saw me in a Blockbuster? I feel totally discriminated against. For whatever reason they've chosen. I don't know what they've chosen to discriminate me for, Steve, but they've done it. Some people, wait a minute. It's absolutely nothing personal. No one even knows you exist. Aha! So now, I'm discriminated because no one knows I exist. What do you think of that, Steve? That's discrimination. Okay? I'm in the no one knows I exist group of people.
But how can I be discriminating against you if you don't exist?
I should exist is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Oscars that I would have the first 5 rows would have all of these actors that you recognize but you haven't seen in a long time. They would be in the front row. And I would say, you've all been discriminated against long enough. And then, like, behind them, Leonardo DiCaprio would be in, like, row 10. So you'd have to look through all the, hey, wait a minute,
He could be handing out the Girl Scout cookies.
No, you wouldn't put him down. You just have him behind people that really need work. You know, hey, wait a minute, I remember him from, ER or pick a show that you used to watch 10 years ago and you haven't seen any of the cast since. Pick one.
News radio.
Perfect. Some woman from news radio you haven't seen since. Sitting right there. People that no one even knows they exist. That's what we're being discriminated as. So anyway, so I'm in Hollywood, and then I'm continuing tonight to doing this documentary on Robin Williams, period. And I think that I'm in the Mork and Mindy section, and I'm having to be very careful because I knew the guy for years and worked with him for 3. I don't think he knew I existed. I think he kind of remembered me, but I was just like a moment in time. I wasn't any of the comics he started with, or, Larry David was around then, but I don't know that he and Robin knew each other except on stage. But I worked with the guy. I was there every day, every day, 5 days a week for like 2.5, 3 years. So I saw him all the time. And did 30-something shows and probably had 4 lines with him or 5 lines. I don't know. It was an odd thing. And in the beginning, I think he liked me because he used me as a cover. I don't know how to say these things to these people. A cover to do what? Well, on one side of the stage was his wife. On the other side was his girlfriend. Now, I get there, having never even seen a TV show before, and when I see this kind of thing going on, I got to just go backstage and tell everybody. But no one was saying anything, I mean, I would gossip and say things, and then I became friends with the girlfriend, and she would get me dates with these models, and then I would take the girlfriend and the model, and we'd go to this club, and then Robin would appear out of the back of the club because he didn't want the tabloids to know what he was doing and all of that. I was having a great time. Great time. I didn't care about the acting or any of it, I mean, I guess I wish my part was bigger, but what did I know? And so, how do you say that to these people? It was like, I don't know, was he miserable or whatever? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care what was wrong with him. I guess, yeah. I never understood that people who were miserable became comedians. To this day, I don't get that one. Well, my father beat me, and one leg shorter than the other, and everyone made fun of me. And I was picked on, and I only have one ear and something wrong, and so I became a stand-up comic. I've never gotten it. Ever. Alcoholic, drug addict, been to prison, stand-up comedian. What about people that have a nice time and are laughing all the time, like me? Raised in a storytelling, funny kind of, family where, you're the Joker guy, I guess people did shit to me, but I thought it was funny to be funny. That's all. So anyway, for some reason, here in Los Angeles, this has opened up some sort of, I don't know what it is. Also this famous DJ that I was a big fan of when I was first getting in radio. Have you ever heard of Charlie Tuna, Steve? Charlie Tuna from Los Angeles.
He's a radio guy? No, I know that Charlie Tuna is the mascot for like Chicken of the Sea or something.
Right.
Or Starkist.
This guy's name was like Dave Ferguson or Charlie Ferguson or whatever. He becomes a DJ in the Midwest, and he changes his name, I guess when he comes to L.A., there was Charlie the Tuna. So people would get names like that. Like, there would be DJs in L.A., and they would, what do you call it? They would change their name to like a street. You know, like, you'd have a guy or a woman, yeah, this is Phil Santa Monica. They changed their names to some local thing. A lot of towns did it. So he became Charlie Tuna. It sounds weird to me, but that's the name he chose, and he became this famous DJ in Los Angeles at a radio station where they played much more music. And you only had how many seconds it was on the beginning of the records before it got to the singer, and that's all they gave you. It was this guy named Bill Drake, and I would get these tapes of these guys because I wanted to be funny in radio. But what's weird about me is I like control. I know that sounds odd, but before I can act chaotic, I think you ought to be in control. Like, before you can let your troops go mad and shoot and kill men, women, and children in a village, as you realize that happens sometimes, they have to be well-trained soldiers before you do that. That's a prime example, and a very negative example, let me say. Certainly you wouldn't want your soldiers to be well-trained and then shoot men, women, and children. Let's just say it's how you get them, after they're well-trained, to just scream and yell going into battle. And remember, they're all so they could be chaotic because they know immediately they're going to go back to their base, and you're going to enjoy the chaos. Well, this guy, Charlie Tuna, would tell these jokes or something right before the record would it hit the post, and they played much more music, and they would speed up the turntables, and they became the number one radio station in L.A., and it started a thing called Boss Radio. Well, I'd get these tapes, and then you'd hear these so-called funny guys who weren't funny anymore because they were talking too long or whatever. Like a guy like me talking like this today, and then you don't hear a record. You go nuts. So these guys would fool around. And it was Marine-like, the way they trained them. They actually sent them to Boss Radio camps. And then Boss Radio took over the United States. And I knew that if I didn't join and figure out how to be funny and before the thing started, before the vocals started. So, you have like, I can still do it sometimes. But he would tell a specific joke, and he would get the punchline right before the singer starts. Give me a song with a kind of decent length intro. Charlie Tuna passed away. One of the reasons why I'm here. He and the real Don Steele, right? Screaming, yelling guy in the afternoon. The real Don Steele. Like, yeah. What's the other? Robert W. Morgan in the morning had this big, deep voice, and they played lots of records. What do you have, Steve? What do you have? Well, wait a minute. You got to tell me what it is.
Oh, this is Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Oh, wait a minute. You got to tell me how long the intro is.
1 minute intro.
That's not a good... What? Not 1 minute. I need No, it was tighter than that. It has to be 20 seconds sometimes.
You said give me a real long intro.
No. Just give me a real intro of a song. No. The whole thing was play a song from the 80s. Play a song from the 80s. And you'd play these records in a row, and if you wanted to say something, it was by rule of the program director and the owners of the station and all that. You could do what you wanted to do, sort of, as long as you read these certain cards, played these records in a row, and you could talk when you didn't have a card to read.
All right.
That's how I learned radio.
33.
Oh, that's
36 seconds.
That's an eternity. What's the song?
Too Shy and Kaga Juju.
Here we go. I'll try something. Here we go. Hey, it's the Jay Thomas Show. How you doing? I was reading something in the paper, and it said that this guy in Australia, I think it was 20, 30 pints of beer, and then he won the world belching contest. He belched for a minute and 6 seconds. Unbelievable, this Australian. In fact, now I'm thinking, hey, Foster's. Australian for gross. That's it. That's all you had to do. That was it. Thank you. And other DJs, the record would stop and they would talk and bullshit and everything else. But at Boss Radio, it went one record to the next, and you'd say the name of the group, or if you didn't tell jokes, you would say something about, yeah, that's how I learned radio. And I enjoyed that. And then, later on it like changed back again. I think because there were funnier people that would just, like when Howard decided not to play records. Everybody wanted to hear what he had to say, right? So, and there'd be other guys in other markets that would happen to. People go, well, we'd rather hear him talk. So then he'd play like 3 records or 4 records or, whatever it was. Anyway, this guy Charlie Tuna passed away. And it worked, all kind of stations and all that. But I also feel as though that until you can be chaotic, you have to absolutely know what you're doing. Even these actors. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the Academy Awards and all that, how many of you have read that Rafe, spelled R-A-L-P-H, which is Ralph, Rafe Fiennes, is playing Michael Jackson in this biopic movie? Yeah. Did you know that, Steve?
Yeah, I did see that.
First, that's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I mean, in the middle of all of this, it's even stupider. But the fact that, does it even sound like this guy? He's a good actor, Shakespeare in Love and all that stuff. Can you imagine him playing Michael Jackson or even singing or moving? No. He's an English guy. It's insane. And I'm sure there is an English guy that, can dance and moonwalk and do all that shit. It's probably not Rafe Fiennes, whose father was the poet laureate or something of England. You're not, or the mother was something. You're not usually raised by those kinds of people, and you're able to, really twerk and shit. Yes, Steve?
It's actually Joseph Fiennes.
Oh, is it Joseph? It's not Rafe?
No.
It's Joseph. Oh, that's the brother. The younger brother is
Correct.
Joseph.
Yes. I mean, they're both fine actors, but they're not Michael Jackson, and they shouldn't be.
No. They're doing a play of Martin Luther King, and a black director and writer has hired a white actor to play him. Did you read that?
No, I did not. I didn't see that.
I'm scouring the internet for these stories and stuff. Let's go to Peter's in Missouri. Yes, Peter, it's Jay Thomas. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Jay, I just started watching Amazon Prime, had something to take on the road with me.
Sure. Are you watching Man in the High Castle?
And everything. These people
hold on. Can they not hear me when I'm talking?
Amazon, they get paid the same as if they were just on a show on ABC. And also, how come every show, whether it be on cable or now even these 2 shows I've been watching on Amazon, how come they're so much better than anything that's on the regular network? Every show on a regular network that's scripted seems to be just god-awful.
Can you hear me when I talk?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Peter, can you hear me?
You hear me fine? Yeah. All right. Peter, are you watching Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I watched that, and I watched the sitcom Red Oaks, and even it's better than, 2 Broke Girls or whatever the hell else is on any network television.
Well, to answer the network television thing, they're still writing for anybody that would be offended by anything on network TV. And the people that run network television have thought this I guess I want to say since after, the Andy Griffith Show and Bonanza and a lot of these shows went off the air when they started to have a different, even after the Dick Van Dyke, for some reason, they decided that the viewing public was completely stupid. And this is the rule. On a sitcom in the United States, you have to have a joke every 5 to 6 seconds. That's not a joke. They don't allow someone to say something and then they let the character, or you laugh at it by yourself or whatever, or there's like Seinfeld did that. They wouldn't laugh at everything. But that was because it became a big hit. And then on the internet or on cable, I think the internet shows are better. They develop character, which you don't even notice. And what you don't realize what you like about it is they let the characters develop. On television, How many times have you heard this one? It's the first episode, the first couple of weeks of the show, Steve. And you come in, and I'm a character, and you're watching the show, and I see you. I've had to actually say this, and it drives you crazy. Well, you're behind the bar, let's say, and I come in. Well. If it isn't Steve Gonzalez, the man that I put in jail 12 years ago, right? Yeah. Who then got out, married my daughter, and you know what I mean? You tell the whole story.
It's the best episode.
And then you look at the other character and you go, "Hi, Dave," like that. No one does that in real life, and so there's another way to do that. You could let the two characters just sit and talk. They are scared to death. These executives who were raised, by the way, on the shows you were raised on. They're your age or younger. What would those shows be? What sitcoms would a young executive 35 have been a fan of? Full House?
Full House.
Okay.
Family Matters, all those TGIF shows.
They thought that was funny. Yeah, they thought that was funny.
I mean, when I was a kid, I liked them.
Okay, when they're writing shows and producing them now, that's what they're trying to do. It's safe. They know it, and that's it. That's why they're no good. I think Two Broke Girls is terrible.
Agreed.
But it's a hit of some sort.
Yeah.
It's a huge hit. So to say that makes you just sound like, you know.
But I think that's also a CBS. I think it also has that CBS factor. And simply meaning when I say that, like, your dad is going to put CBS on regardless of what's on just because he feels like it's a safe network.
I'm in that age group where, you know, I'm the dad that would just put all those people have to die.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? You'll be shocked at your own generation when they start acting really weird in another 10 years and start acting like their parents and becoming conservative and stuff. You're going to be stunned. I know I am. I can only hang with 5, 6, 7 people. You think I can you think I can go to a normal meeting with a bunch of guys that are in their 50s or 60s and talk about pot?
No.
I mean, no, you can't. And it's not because they're all hiding it. They're not, you know, like, do you think they say dirty shit to their wives and stuff and talk to guys? I mean, I hang with some, like, interesting, fun, you know, people that live dangerous lives that could, you know, they could die because of their behavior. I think it's fabulous. You know, they're all trying to have interventions, and I was invited to an intervention once, and I said, leave the fucking guy alone. Leave him alone. Intervene with what? For what reason? You know, he likes being fucking loaded. Don't give him any money. You know, well, what's the matter with you? Don't you want? I've never met a person that either kicked drugs or alcohol or whatever that wasn't completely fucking boring after they became sober.
Yeah.
And you only want to be with them up till the third drink, Steve. After that, you know. Is somebody answering the phones for us today because Christina's away?
Yes.
Great. Who is it?
We have Carrie with us right now.
Carrie, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show, and thanks for helping and everything else. Do you have everything you need? Are you being treated properly?
I'm treated great.
Wow. And so what's your story?
You know, I was born in Queens a long time ago. No, I'm 23. Oh, my God, turned 23 last week. Oh, God. Yeah. I'm 23 from Queens, part-time board op here, helping out on shows that need help or need some assistance. So that's what I'm doing.
And are you college educated?
Yes, I graduated in May.
What are your student loans like?
Too high.
Too high? Are you for that Bernie Sanders, wants to pay everything off?
No, I'm actually Hillary.
You're a Hillary. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. A lot of young women like Bernie Sanders.
Yes, they do.
Does he turn any of your friends on at all?
Only the ones that have grandpa issues.
Really?
Not so much daddy issues.
I'd like to meet him.
Oh.
I've never met a woman with grandpa issues, but I would love to meet somebody with grandpa. So you know women that will have a thing with their grandpa issue, and they'll actually go out with much older men.
No, not personally, but I'm sure there's some websites like sugar daddies, but
really?
Granddaddies. Sugar granddaddies.
Granddaddies. By the way.
We're starting something.
that would be... Now, we have people on her all the time that start things, but they keep going. If you keep going, yeah, are you kidding? Of course, granddaddies. That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't say granddaughters. That's too creepy. But we've got to have a word for the women that like granddaddies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's tough.
You know what? We have a whole show to think about it.
Well, I'm going to get back to you.
And you're Carrie, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to Sirius XM, I hope. And were you warned about coming in here, or do you have any idea what this show is about or anything?
I have some idea.
It's okay if you had some idea.
Yes.
Is there, like, chatter in the hallways about the Jay Thomas show, how maybe he's like a wheel has come off and he's not exactly right?
No one even talks about you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. There's another coffin in the nail of discrimination against me. And people like me. Right. Let's go to David, who's in Nashville. Hello, David. It's Jay Thomas. Go ahead. By the way, Alex and gavel-to-gavel coverage of Erin Andrews weeping on the stand to try and get $75 million from the Nashville... Is it the Marriott in Nashville where the guy took the naked pictures of her and all that?
That is correct.
All right. You're right there, David. Did you see any of the, we're going to play the audio in a minute, any of the video of her crying or the reports about Erin breaking down on the stand?
I did last night, but I haven't seen for what she did today yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Now, do you feel as though she's really upset or she's really putting on a show to make sure that $75 million, even though she was horribly offended, and it was a terrible thing to have naked pictures of her. And by the way, she is a beautiful woman. And those pictures proved, one, that she's a beautiful woman, and one of the reasons why she's a sideline reporter. They want her on there to attract men and women like you, David.
Yeah. She's definitely a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth 70. I mean, it is a terrible thing what that dude did to her, but I don't know if it's $75 million. Maybe half of that.
Well, what happened is the people at the desk didn't know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in Nashville. The guy got on the phone. Excuse me, it was an electronic mistake. He picked up the phone and asked the operator to give him Erin Andrews' room. Now, she didn't say the room number, but it came up on the house phone.
That's what I heard, yeah.
And so then he just asked for the room next door. He noticed it was, so they weren't aware of what he was doing, but still, the room number shouldn't come up on the phone like that. But he didn't know, the person at the desk had no idea who Erin Andrews was. And
I believe that, yes.
So she'll get some amount of money. I can't believe they haven't settled, so.
I know. That's after 8 years of it in litigation, or 6 years, however, it seems like they would be settled, but, yeah, that's what it was. She didn't know, nobody at the front desk really knew who she was. Now, if she'd have given an alias to the person at the front desk, it could have been a whole different thing. If she thought she was somebody special like that, she should have made did an alias or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that couldn't happen. But who knows? But $75 million, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
She called her father and said, Daddy, this is a quote, I'm naked all over the internet. Do you have any daughters, David? Do you have any daughters?
I do. I have an 11-year-old.
Okay, hold on a minute. Is it Carrie? Let's bring Carrie back to the microphone. Good God Almighty. I didn't think I'd use you this quickly. Carrie, imagine you get home tonight and some of these miscreants, these perverts there at Sirius XM, have taken some sort of a dress cam, some sort of a dress cam, and it looked like some wire or something, and it's just taken videos of you in a compromising position or something or other.
Yeah.
Would you call your dad and say, Daddy, I'm naked all over the internet?
No, I'd call HR.
Oh, you there you go. And you would
skip that step.
You would say, I'm naked all over the internet. What do you think the person taking the call would do as soon as you registered your complaint?
They'd fire me first.
Why would they fire you?
Why? Because as a female, I'd be asking for it already off of that.
Really?
I'm sure. And plus, I'm part-time. I don't think they'd...
Because you're a woman and part-time? Let me tell you, I've been here 11 years. I think Steve can back me up on this. I've never known a kinder, more giving company than the company you're at right now. And believe
guys tell otherwise.
You would be backed up completely. And the people at HR would have to go immediately on the internet and see those naked pictures so they could determine for themselves if you were violated. All right, thank you. So you wouldn't call your dad.
No.
So yeah, David, go ahead. There you go. What did you call about, David?
Well, I was going back to what you were talking about the joke every 5 to 6 seconds, and I agree with you on that. There is one show that I've been watching for a couple of years now, that Mom, where they've dealt with some pretty, they got the alcoholism. Her daughter gave another child up for adoption. I mean, they go kind of deep in that one, and it's considered a comedy. I like that show. It's a really good show.
Well, you're from Nashville, Tennessee. No wonder you like that show. I think you
I'm a Democrat.
No. I think on the state flag there's a picture of, I think, there's a picture of a drunk and a woman, having an illegitimate child, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. I believe so.
There might be.
Yeah, there is. All right, thank you, David.
Hey, real quick, Jay.
What?
Hey, so I know this. I don't want to offend you, but you said one time that you've used Rogaine. Does that really work? Because I just started it, and I want to know what you really thought.
You don't have to answer, it's pretty simple. No, it's fine. I don't care. I've had everything. I've had facelifts. I've had tummy tucks. I've had all of it. Just the other day, I had something shot in my chin. I do it all. I believe all of it. All of it. Here's what you do. Take a picture of your bald spot, right?
Okay.
Put the Rogaine on it. Use it for like 2 or 3 months. Take another picture. You never thought of that? That's because you're educated in Nashville. All right, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Let's go to Alex and gavel-to-gavel coverage of the goings-on in a Nashville court, because Aaron Andrews, the guy was a nut. He went to jail for 2.5 years. He's sorry for it. I read about him. We may be able to get him, Steve Gonzalez. Look his name up. He was like giving some interviews. Alex, welcome to the show. How are you?
Okay, Jay.
Now, why did they let any cameras into the courtroom with Aaron Andrews? What sort of court is it?
A very old, nice wooden court with a...
I didn't mean what it looked like. I meant what jurisdiction is it in?
Oh, it's
I don't care.
It's in Nashville. There are 7
Steve,
females on the
it's a lovely wooden building. What kind of
it's not a modern courtroom. It's what you would expect in an old
But is it district court? Is it federal court? What is it?
It's in state court. It's actually an invasion of privacy lawsuit. And she is suffering from depression, anxiety, and panic attacks.
Don't you know she's a thrill to work with, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what they've done. She's got no makeup on. She's dressed very drab. And you wouldn't know it's the same person that you see on the sidelines.
The same thing happened to me when they brought my ex-wife, Sharon, into the courtroom during our divorce. I mean this. She was very freckled anyway and was a redhead, but without makeup and stuff on. Do you remember the rock singer? Remember Johnny Winter and his brother Edgar Winter? They were albinos. Remember them? She looked exactly like one of those albino rockers, one of the Winter brothers. And as I looked at her, and I mean, I had never seen her this completely undone before, and the hair down and everything else, and a really floppy dress. And it makes you wonder, what the fuck did I ever see in her? Yeah. So she's making herself look frumpy. But, hey, the Internet doesn't lie. And I am so sorry that, yes, I've seen the horrifying thing, but only as news coverage. She has a gorgeous body. And I wonder if any of the jurors are allowed to go online, Alex, to see it.
Well, they ended the testimony on Thursday.
Yeah.
And Aaron left the courtroom. They played the tape for the jury, and they moved everyone to the other side of the courtroom so they couldn't see it. They dimmed the lights, and, of course, we couldn't see it. We could see it playing. We could see the light coming off the screens. But the jury has viewed the entire tape.
Are there men and women in the jury?
It's 7 females, so I assume we're going to say 5 males.
It may not be 12. It may be 9, right? There could be less people in this.
I'm under the impression that it's a 12-person jury.
So did you see the 5 men walk out, but they were bent over? You know how when men have a bulge in their pants and they have to bend over to walk? You know?
They're very strict in not showing the jury.
They don't show any of that.
No. Now, I went back to look at the tape because they had an IT expert come in, the plaintiff, who was able to determine so far 16.8 million individual people have seen it.
Wow.
And
now I wonder if she's getting any money from YouTube because, you know, when you download that many, millions and millions, they'll pay you. Now, she doesn't want to promote it, obviously. But what a waste that there are tons of advertisers, everything. So somebody's making money off of those downloads or off the views.
It's kind of interesting. TMZ is a hero in this case. He tried to sell the tape to TMZ. Mm-hmm. And TMZ got his IP address and refused to buy it from him.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but they saved all that information. And when the FBI began investigating and TMZ contacted them when they heard there was an investigation, that's how they caught him, because TMZ had saved all
first
the
of all,
information.
Harvey Levin is an attorney. That is stalking. And once this guy told of how he did it, all of that is jailable, all of it. And then to run something that is surreptitiously taken, illegally taken, he defaced a door and he put secret cameras and stuff, a violation of privacy, sexual harassment. I mean, all of it, right? Alex is, who would want those?
It's kind of interesting because he has testified in the civil case. He has never been face-to-face with her. He has never seen her in person. He only saw her through the peephole. Well, he's probably seen her mainly on TV. He picked up on her because she was trending, and that's when he decided to stalk her. She was trending on the internet.
He's a nut. He says that he was financially distraught. His wife was leaving him, losing his house and everything else, and he says he began doing strange things. That's what his thing was. And that, he picked her out because she was trending. But if you read, I don't know if it was testimony he gave or a deposition or even an interview, I don't know why I did it. It was just stupid. What's the guy's name? He's one of those guys with 3 names. Michael David Barrett.
You got it. Michael David Barrett.
Right. He ran a background check on Andrews. Did you know that?
Yes, he did.
Why did he do that?
Because he's one of those people, I think, who lives on the internet. And that's what you do when you're on.
I would imagine you live on the internet, too. Have you ever run a background check on me, you little fucking sniveling sneak?
I wouldn't tell you what I've run on you.
Yeah.
But there's nothing bad going on, Tay.
You bet. Damn right there isn't.
You know?
How about this? I tried to edit my own Wikipedia page by telling them, it's me, stupid. It's me. And they wouldn't let me edit my own page. So I told them, then you take everything down. And you know what's funny? They did it. I think there's like 5 sentences about me on Wikipedia. I didn't even think they would do that, but they did. So now Erin says she could never get the video down. It's too many places, right? Is it encrypted in one of those phones that only Tim Cook can open?
No, her IT expert who did 20 years in the military and then became an online...
Wait a minute. I would much rather 20 years as a fucking nerd starting in junior high school and coming out of Silicon Valley. The military... who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
He worked in the war college and did simulated war games.
So what?
And then when he left the military, he got into online advertising. He wrote one of the first books on online advertising.
Yeah.
And then he used all of this knowledge he has to find out how many people. He actually says that over 20 million people have seen it, but he can only get a verification on 16.8 million. So that's
why doesn't he just put a virus in it if he's so smart? Just put a virus in it. So every time you open the Erin Andrews video, your computer's fucked. And that will be it. And even if he does it 100,000 times and people hear about it, they won't open it anymore. It seems so simple to me.
Well,
you don't even have to get to the source.
Part of his testimony was of how often it's been uploaded to the Internet, and that he said the day before he testified, which was last Thursday, it had been uploaded again onto the Internet.
Wow.
So, I mean, okay. I found it very easy because I hadn't seen it in years.
And what is it she's doing? Is she toweling off, sitting on the side of the bed? What are we looking at?
You know, I hate to say this, but it is kind of exciting because you're looking at someone who is not doing this on purpose.
Are you sitting down or standing up? And if you're sitting down when you get up, will you be bent over like those people in the jury, the men?
She is very attractive. She has a great body. She was, I would say, sort of a tomboy, but with all the right parts. And this is from her.
By the way, I'm only going, saying how terrible it is, Steve Gonzalez. And Carrie doesn't even know me. That's what when I think something is horrible, that's what I do, Carrie. I go, like that.
This was not a real high-tech operation.
Really?
The stalker was in the room next to her, and he had already prepared the peephole, and he heard the shower turn off. So he goes into the hallway, and he just held his cell phone up to the peephole and started, taping. And he got her. For some reason, she took off her towel that was wrapped around her after the shower and walked around the room naked for like 4 minutes. He got 4 minutes of her walking around naked.
You mean almost as if, on cue?
Well,
not that she did know she was being videoed. She said she didn't, and I believe her. But almost as if. Now, do you think that guy at that moment gave himself a fist pump and said, "There is a God"? This horrible person, this stalker, this woman abuser. Do you think he thought there was a God at that moment?
Well, he's a sick guy because he has admitted that he has done this to other women. This is not the first time that he's done this peephole cell phone.
I got to tell you, I wonder if there's any peephole videos of me out there. Man.
And what upset her the most was the original rumor that she was in on it. That also set her off.
Yeah. And she was in a big negotiation or trying to make it. But here's what's so funny. She bolted completely forward after that. I mean, look, it's like Jennifer Aniston. If she hadn't have divorced Brad Pitt, I'm sorry. It's true. It happens. She wouldn't have the career she has now, and no one would give a shit about her marriage to a guy that no one even knew who he was, and I think he's on a couple of shows, a show on HBO or whatever. What happens is a terrible thing happens to someone, and some people it hurts, and there's no reason, there's no rhyme or reason for it. And some people, Jennifer Aniston is a good actress. She would have never been noticed, nor would she ever have been put in any of these categories for some reason without being wronged by Angelina Jolie. And the same thing with this Erin Andrews. Once it was confirmed what she really looked like under her sideline outfit, the executives had to know that every guy that watches, whether he says it or not, is going to be thinking that.
You have almost hit on what the cross-examination was today. They were very gentle with her. They asked her, was Barrett a criminal? Yes, Barrett's a criminal. And they just briefly go through what Barrett did to her. And then all the other questions were, did you get a new job? Did you move from ESPN to Fox? Yes. Did you get a salary increase? Yes. Yep. Did you get an endorsement from, and they name everything. How much were you paid for that endorsement? It just shows she has made multi-millions since this incident happened.
Now, I'm going to tell you, you can't ever overcome the fact that it is sexual harassment. It is a gross invasion of privacy. And even though I've only been to law school one day, but I played a couple of lawyers on TV, as you know. And once you play one, you kind of get it. You know what I mean? Here's what I do know. He has to dance around this thing. But one of the things, when you're going to win, especially this is a civil suit, you have to prove that you have been materially injured, right, Alex?
Well, she has to prove she's emotionally damaged because she has not been financially damaged. Mm-hmm. So they had, and this is interesting, this is the second time she's filed this lawsuit. The first time she filed it, it was only for $10 million, and she dropped it. Then she waited another 2.5 years to file the one that's being heard now, and then it became $75 million, and then she went to psychiatrist. The first time she had never seen a psychiatrist. She developed so many disorders. Everyone she sees in the street, she looks at them and they say they're looking at me naked. They all saw the video. Every meeting she has with executives, she can tell they're thinking about the naked video. She is really putting on this real damage act that this video is like the end of the world.
Let's bring the lone woman in our studios back in New York. Just met her a little while ago. Carrie, correct?
Yes.
So have you been able to listen to a little bit of Alex as our political, and not our political, but our legal counsel here, and he's been on for years and years, and he is something of an attorney. We don't really know who he is, but he writes for these shows and all. What do you think of this? She's suddenly developed. Every man looking at her sees her naked, and she's become. Do you know who she is? First of all, Erin Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea. She's on television, right? She was a
sports
ESPN?
announcer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, sports announcer. You have a boyfriend or a dad or a brother, or do you watch ESPN or football or anything?
I couldn't watch football without all those things, but yes.
Okay, so you have, and she's on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this? Do you feel sorry for her?
I feel sorry for her, but I feel like it's been way too long for her to now have emotional issues for it. What I think is that maybe one of the emotional things could be dating. I don't know if she's with anyone right now, but
I think she's married, Alex. Did she get married? She
lives with a hockey player.
Oh.
She lives with a hockey player.
Yeah,
NHL hockey player, yeah. And by the way, I don't know if you know about them, Carrie. They're some of the most deep, emotional men you can possibly meet. They are their whole lives are dealt with knowledge and feelings and trying to be as close to other human beings as they can. It's a perfect person for someone emotionally distraught to be with.
Noted.
Yeah. So it's been many years. She's now married to a very successful hockey player. Stay right there. Canadian, I'm sorry. Have they asked her if it's upset her marriage, Alex?
She testified that his attitude is, get over it. It happened so long ago, can't you get over it and move on with your life?
He's also really busy snorting a lot of cocaine.
Well, allegedly. Hold on a minute. You can't throw that one out there, Steve, like that. We don't have... Has he been arrested for that?
He's definitely had things come up.
Yes,
that's alleged. That's alleged. No. We're not going to have... For your own well-being, Steve. Hold on a minute. Carrie, you did not hear that. You will disregard what you just heard.
I'm not going to say the charges.
He was arrested.
He was arrested.
He was arrested. On suspicion. And can I say something to everybody listening?
Possession.
If you're making millions of dollars and you're a young, handsome, incredibly skilled hockey player, and that's the time of life that you put that shit up your nose. Am I wrong, Carrie?
At least it's not meth.
Thank you very much. Carrie, please go back to the telephones where I'm sure men are very excited by your opinions. So, Alex, let's go back to the Erin Andrews trial. So she testified that the husband told her to get over it, but she can't get over it. It's her problem, not his.
It's impossible for her to get over it. I think she's sort of a person that would get an eating disorder. Something triggers it off in your life. This event triggered off some previous problems she had.
Can I say that if any of us said to our wives after they told us how upset they were, get over it, don't you think, Steve, it'd be one of the last times they ate any of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that, Alex, that she's not exactly going down there and what's the guy's name?
Jarrett Stoll.
She's not down there and gobbling. Is it S-T-O-H-L? How is it spelled?
S-T-O-L-L.
S-T-O-L. She's not down there gobbling the old stole. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Noises today. There's been a deep then my and then there's Alex says, yeah.
I feel very bad for her, and I hate having to say some bad things about her because she was doing nothing wrong. This is not her fault.
That's true, and I agree with you.
And
I personally don't like her as an announcer. I'm going to say that. I find her aggravating, and I find her not talented, okay? Steve, can we take this across the top of the hour, or do we have to take the break?
No, we can keep going.
Okay, we'll take the break after. But because
Tell me when.
I know that she's been hurt and everything else. But the weird thing is that after a while, and you know this too, Alex, you don't, we only feel sorry for you for a short period of time. And then, it's time to get over it.
And actually, when the defense was crossing her, they showed that she's moved out of sports since this incident. She did the red carpet at the Oscars.
Right.
And then she's now got this job at Dancing with the Stars. She's a co-host.
People are always asking, why is everybody so interested in Donald Trump? And I'll tell you why. If you were discussing this with Donald Trump, he'll say the thing that not just your dad or granddad or a lot of people are going. He'll say the truth. He'll go like this. Well, she's on this. She's on the red carpet. She has $10 million in endorsements. She's making $3 million. No one would pay her that if she hadn't have been naked on the internet. I'm sorry she's upset. That's how Donald Trump would have said it. People, all of a sudden, some group of people go, how horrible that is. That is just horrible. But a large group of individuals, a majority of people, they go, yeah, that's right. So in plain speak, Alex, she doesn't seem materially injured by this. And is the money going to make her feel better?
Well, that's what civil lawsuits about. They can only give you money. They can't give you back your hurt feelings, your embarrassment. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, she has nothing to be embarrassed about. But I'm not a female. I don't know why it's so upsetting to be filmed naked when you have a great body.
Was she not on Dancing with the Stars?
She performed on Dancing with the Stars, and then they hired her to be a co-host.
Get out of here.
Stars. Yes?
Come on.
Co-host now. What's it, Tom Bergeron? Is that his name?
Yes.
Tom Bergeron.
Well, he co-hosts with him.
I know Tom. We work together, and I have some nude shots of him.
Gross.
Yeah. I'm going to spread those around.
And look, I looked at her. I looked at some of the video from her on Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And, people who get upset would say, she's partially naked on the show.
Mm-hmm.
She did. She wore very revealing outfits when she was dancing.
You would have thought she would have been dressed like she is in court. Covering herself up. Right. Let's go to Lulu, who was in Massachusetts. Yes, Lulu, go ahead.
Hi. So I haven't watched the case on TV or anything, but from a girl's perspective, I'm a young lady. Obviously, I wouldn't want my body flashed all over the internet for my family to see, but I wouldn't bring it to the courts and knowing that media is going to pick it up if I didn't want people to know about it.
Well, a whole nother group is going to start watching, and for some reason, somebody's talked her into suing for $75 million, a huge multi-billion-dollar, hospitality corporation. So she's going to get some money out of this, but she's doing pretty good. So I don't. Have you seen the video of her, Lulu?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen the video. I'm sure my husband has, but I haven't. But no, I just.
After he saw the video, was he bent over when he got out of?
He probably was. Yeah.
I'm going to tell this joke, Steve, until somebody, and thank you, Lulu, somebody finally giggled at least at that. So, do you now? Have you ever been Has a guy ever done something to you at work or against your wishes or whatever that caused you to have flashbacks or think about it to the point where if you've been a more well-known person, you might have sued this person or said, hey, you really fucked me up for a long time?
I'm an engineer. I work in an all-man industry where, the part of the engineering that I do. I meet a lot of very strange men who are, computer geeks, right? And they sit behind their computer and don't do much else. They don't interact with women generally. So when they, there's some weird people who do some very strange stuff, but,
Well, they're probably scared of you. Right?
Yeah, very intimidating. But no.
Yeah.
But no.
Are you still an engineer now?
I am.
Cool. What sort of engineer?
I do telecommunications engineering. So I work on pretty much everything that, for like the cellular phone industry. Yeah.
Do you think you're dumber than the guys in your office?
No, I think I'm smarter than they are. But
of course you do. You know why? Do you know why you think that, Lulu?
Because I am.
Because you're a woman.
That's right.
Hear that, Steve? You see, hear that, Steve?
Yes.
That's
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly. Hey, you know what's really... if you walked into the office and you were really attractive, I would sit everybody down and go, okay, look, we're all engineer guys. We know we're pretty much nerds and everything else. We got Lulu here. She's really smart. She's a fabulous engineer. Let's get it out in the open. Let's all say the words. Let's tell her what she looks like. She'll tell us how she feels about us, and then we'll never deal with it again. And then you would say to them, well, I know you all have dicks. You'd say stuff like that. And we would go, oh, look at those tits. And we'd say all these terrible things. And then we'd all shake hands and walk out of the room, and that would be the end of that.
Your system. I know where everybody stands. You know where I stand. Yeah.
There you go. That's right.
Solving all the HR issues right now.
Well, I got to tell you. Why I didn't make it higher in industry, I'll never know. I'll never know. Well, Lulu, thanks for calling. And she's very successful, but she's very upset.
Right. So, like I said, if she's successful, she has other income coming in. It's not like she's bent for cash. I'm just saying, if I didn't want everybody in the world to go out and watch the video, I wouldn't.
Bring it up.
Have a. But yeah.
Do you have a girlfriend who's married, she has a good job, or she's happily married, the husband she has kids, and she's miserable all the time? You have one of those girlfriends?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Just checking. Sure. All right. Thank you. You may step down. Thank you, Lulu.
Thank you.
You hear that, Alex? What I did?
Yes,
I didn't ask her about Erin Andrews. I asked her about a girlfriend that had nothing to do with the trial.
And I just want to clear one thing up.
Sure.
The defendant in this is the Marriott at Vanderbilt, which is a franchisee.
Right.
Marriott got off the case.
Right.
They were able to use the paperwork that says the franchisee is responsible for everything. But
it's the phone system. And whoever did the phone system is liable. Because, if you called me at the Bonaventure Hotel, where you as Jay Thomas, I don't know if it'll ring in my room or not. I don't know. But I wouldn't want my room number to come up on an electronic telephone. That I wouldn't want.
Well, he was very smart. He called from the restaurant in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Asked for her room. Asked for her. Made a phone call to her. And yes, a display came up with her room number on it. He then went up to the floor. And he saw the room next to her was being made up. And then he went down to the desk to book that room.
Yeah, he's a creep. There's no doubt he's a creep.
Yeah. But this is the third time he had stalked her. He also taped her at a Columbus hotel in Ohio.
Naked? She was naked?
I don't know if he got her naked or not, but that video has never surfaced.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally against the law. You couldn't even do it to you and I. You can't do that. You can't. And what's so weird is that he screwed, actually cut the peephole out and then placed this, he reversed it, right?
Yeah, what he did was make it a clear shot through there by removing the centerpiece. Then he sort of got it back in place, but then he listened from his room, and he knew when she was through with the shower.
Steve, he heard her voice through the telephone, and I don't think there's anybody. Could you bring up could you bring up some audio of her, because she has a very distinctive voice.
Everybody put up that I was doing it for publicity and attention, and that ripped me apart.
Yeah.
Probably for like 3 months, everybody thought it was a publicity stunt. The front page of the New York Post and ESPN scandal.
Like the music you put behind it, it softens it. Softens the impact.
Do you feel grief about this?
I do.
Do you feel shame about this?
I do.
Wow.
I feel so ashamed. This happens every day of my life. Either I get a tweet, or somebody makes a comment in the paper, or somebody sends me a still of the video to my Twitter, or someone screams at me in the stands, and I'm right back to this. I feel so embarrassed and I'm so ashamed. This could have been stopped. The National Marriott could have just called me and said, "We're putting this man that requested to be next to you. Is this okay?" And I would have called the cops and we would have gotten him. They could have stopped this, and I'm so angry. I'm so mad.
Now, Alex, I do not think the people at the desk heard him say he wanted to be next to Aaron Andrews. He just wanted that room number.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that didn't happen. And the people at the desk had no idea who Aaron Andrews was. But that thing shouldn't have come up on the phone. So now they are liable for her emotional injury, but not $75 million.
Clearly, we don't know what the settlement amounts were that were not enough for her to settle this.
Right. Had to be a lot, though. Be a lot.
And it's going to be up to the jury. I mean, the jury usually, in civil cases, sets the amount.
Okay.
If we want to go back, you were jumping on Trump a little bit.
Yeah. I was saying why people, now when you hear that audio, she sounds wholly distraught. I don't think she is a great actress. I think that she is very upset, and it sounds like this has really messed her up mentally. And I'm sure that this hockey player, Steve, has bitten off 20 or 30 times more than he ever wanted to ever chew, and I'm sure this has messed their sex lives up a lot. And I'm sure guys say, on that. Now, will it ever make her feel better? She'll only feel better when she's older and nobody gives a shit about seeing her naked on the internet.
Oh, on the direct testimony?
Yeah.
They ask her, do you plan to have children? Yes. And they got her crying again. When she's in her 60s, her grandchildren will be able to see this video. She can cry. Wow. You say anything that's a little upsetting to her, and she's off. She is. Wow. She's right on the edge. Even when she's sitting at the table, you feel nervous for her. She's very jittery and very upset.
Is the husband there?
No, but here's another piece I'll put in. When the FBI is investigating it, she is with her father, and they have to view the tape because they don't know what hotel it was done in.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing when they turn the tape on, she pukes. She puked for the FBI.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She vomited on the table with the daddy there and everything?
She's in a room. The FBI says, we're going to investigate this. We're going to catch this guy. But you must look at the tape. We don't know what hotel this was. We don't know where this room is.
Steve, if they were showing my body naked, I think
would vomit right away.
A lot of people would vomit. But yeah, so we're hearing now of this emotional destruction from the get-go. What do you think the settlement's going to be?
$10 million plus.
I think so too. Around 10, 15 million bucks. Not more than 20, and they're going to, of course, they're going to appeal it. I also saw that the FBI was questioning her to see if it was a setup. So after she vomits and cleans herself up, the FBI guys started taking it seriously. It's amazing. I got to remember that if ever I'm in real trouble when they're questioning me, and I vomit.
They didn't believe it till she vomited. Absolutely.
Wow. All right, Alex.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Next week, Hulk Hogan's sex tape Gawker trial starts.
Now, does that have something to do with Bubba the Love Sponge?
The sex tape was made in Bubba's house on Bubba's security cameras.
We got to be careful. Doesn't he sue people, Steve, or something to talk about it or something? I don't know.
Well, Bubba has settled with Hulk. He has given Hulk money.
And so what are we going to, and then what are you going to cover next week?
Well, it's going to be Gawker is the only defendant left.
Oh, you mean the company, Gawker?
Yeah.
And they're on for showing it.
Well, I don't know if it's still on the internet. I've seen it on the internet. It's only left.
But who's suing them for showing it?
Hulk's suing them for releasing the video.
Oh, Hulk is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I thought everybody said that who gave it to him?
That's interesting because that's in a sealed document of how Gawker got the document, how they got it.
Well, that would be the end of the case.
But the belief is that Bubba actually videotaped it, knew about the whole thing, and he's the one who actually sent it out.
See, I didn't want to
that?
say that Bubba did it to his best friend, but Bubba did it.
But did, now I'm going to just say alleged, I have no idea. Allegedly, if Bubba did it, was it part of their relationship with the wife and that she was with other men and that they enjoyed that?
Well, we don't know because the settlement is sealed. Bubba was a defendant in this case. He's no longer a defendant because he settled with Hulk. And that paperwork is sealed.
So Hulk was mad that somebody gave it to Gawker. So he sued Bubba for saying he gave it to him, and now he's so Hulk Hogan didn't want anyone to see him screwing another man's wife, even if the other man thought it was okay.
There's even worse thing on the tape, which got him fired from the WWE, because he makes he says the N-word in a not favorable manner on the tape also.
Is Bubba's wife black?
No.
I don't know, but I know that McMahon fired him when it came out what he was saying, the audio.
He should have had him. Who is the big, meanest, biggest, blackest guy on the WWE? Who's that?
Mark Henry.
He should have had them fight. And have him throw his ass all over the... You know what, Steve? I'm always thinking, even negative marketing. I'm always thinking. Always thinking. Yeah, I got it. And you know who should be the ring announcer?
You.
Aaron Andrews.
No, she's got to be outside of the ring.
Well, that's fine, too. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Hey, Alex, thank you.
I think we will learn next week, because I'm assuming Bubba is going to be a witness.
All right, hold on a minute.
We're going to hear.
Boy, we got a lot going on here. Let's go to Kim of Pennsylvania. Yes, Kim, the Jay Thomas Show. What did you want to say about this sex tape, this Hulk Hogan?
I allegedly heard that an associate of Bubba's, goes as Spice Boy, was the one that released the sex tape. I didn't know if Alex...
And I don't know, I mean this. What's funny is I never covered this, don't know anything about it, have, talked to Bubba twice on the telephone, that's about it. But I remember when all this happened. And then this complete asshole that I can't stand that's in New York working, Bubba said stuff about his wife. He sued, I mean, there's a lot of lawsuits. I just don't want to get, mixed up in it. That's all.
Yeah, I know that Howard's right-hand man, Brent, was...
and he was there. Brent was there also, yeah. Wow. Man. So. Now, is that sex tape online? The Hulk Hogan one?
As far as I know, you can still find it, yeah. I haven't seen it.
Is Bubba... But by the way, I mean, Hulk Hogan has this fabulous body, right? And so, I would think if your wife was really into that, I mean, it wouldn't be an everyday thing, but, you give her, you literally would throw her a bone, Alex. Go ahead.
Well, I can tell you, Hulk is a talker while he's doing her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here it comes, baby. One of those kind of deals. Oh yeah. By the way, when I'm in bed, I'm sorry to say this, but I become a black guy like Barry White in bed. Oh yeah, baby.
Hulk is like a fine aged leather.
He's like fine aged leather. Yeah. Was she enjoying it in the video?
She was making moaning noises.
She at least pretended well.
Wow. All right, Alex, thank you. Kim of Pennsylvania, thank you, too.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Jane of Ohio. My God, Jane, I'm exhausted by all this talk. This is, this.
Well, yeah. I came in partway through the show, so I apologize if I'm missing, if you
it's fine.
mentioned this point and I've missed it. But,
sure, go ahead.
To say that the only thing that happened to her was being embarrassed by the tape being on the internet is so simplistic. I mean, you go to a hotel and you expect to have your security.
Yes.
It's not a violation. I mean, she's got a gorgeous body. If she had chosen to put it on the internet, fine. But it's the fact that when you've had something like that happen to you, you don't feel safe, ever. You never feel safe.
Did that happen to you? Did something like that happen to you?
Yes, I had someone keeping in my windows who then attempted to break into my apartment.
Yeah, I'm sure you would never get over that.
Yeah, it turned out he was a convicted sex criminal. And I am constantly, I hear a noise. I mean, it's very hard to feel safe in places. It's very hard to feel safe. It's your security. I don't think I haven't watched any of the trial. Maybe she is talking about the embarrassment, but it's your sense of security that is.
No, she said that also, that when she walks down the street, she envisions people seeing her naked. I would think that we're thinking that she's embarrassed, but absolutely, she thinks that men are looking at her. She gets angry messages from people. And so, yes, she has mentioned that she's frightened, and that's security. And you are absolutely correct. What's funny is whatever the number is, this hotel hasn't been able to hit it. But they're going to pay for this because, it's obvious that they screwed up with the telephone system. But I wonder what they offered her. Because when you go to trial, 95% of these things don't ever go to trial. So maybe she wants the whole $75 million or $50 million or something. I don't know. She wants a lot. She wants a bunch.
Or maybe she wants to make people aware that you can't trust the security in a lot of hotels, especially this one.
Well, I'm sure that telephone doesn't work anymore. That thing. I feel secure in a hotel. You know what? All you have to do is put that little metal bar over the thing, and you're completely secure in a hotel.
Well, I guess that's the feeling that someone who hasn't had that kind of experience can have.
Well, the other thing is you had it at home, and that's a terrible violation. But I also carry a picture of me that I'm able to put on a selfie stick, and it's just a picture of my butthole. So when someone looks through the peephole, if they were to turn it around, it would just be a picture of an old guy's butthole. Huh? That's what you do to stop them. In a hotel. Hey, do you have a gun? Do you have a gun now?
Yes.
Good. Okay. You see, what's funny is that
concealed carry permit.
Yeah, and I know why. And you have a good reason for it. And so when we talk about guns to people all the time, I hear people that nothing's ever happened to. 99% of the population of people that want to carry guns. Oh, they don't even drive through bad neighborhoods. So you have every right to have a gun. Every right. So I'm sorry that happened to you. And you have a boyfriend or a husband?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, no, that part of my life has not been affected.
Okay.
It's just it's not, I have no trouble trusting men. It's just feeling safe. Doors
I don't like any noises. I don't like any noises anywhere. Like when the ice machine drops ice in my refrigerator, I jump out of my chair. Oh, yeah. I'm very nervous. I think if anybody ever really broke in on me and I had to deal with it, I think I would carry that for a long time. I absolutely believe that. So,
yeah.
All right. All right, Jane, thank you very much.
Sure. Okay.
By the way, I was going to be Jane if I wasn't born a man. You know that, Steve. I'd have been Jane.
Yes.
And one of the only other loves in my life was a woman named Jane. I've always liked that name. You see, I'd be the kind of guy that would protect Jane. I would protect her. She's got a concealed carry thing, and she has a weapon. Okay? I got to tell you something. I would never peek through that window. Not at all. Let's go to Juan of Louisiana. Yes, Juan. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I'm fine.
Oh, good. I was just overhearing the conversation that you were having with this lady about the security in hotels. And,
well, that's a lawsuit. See, it's like this woman's security was violated because they let the stalker know where the room is. This Erin Andrews. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think it's probably about a year ago, and this happened in kind of downtown Houston. I do a lot of traveling with a band on the weekends, and the only time we've ever stayed in downtown Houston, that same night, the trailer, we have a huge 40-foot trailer that we keep all the gear in. That same night, it was burglarized. They fortunately weren't able to get fully into the truck, so they only took like pedal boards, stuff like that. But at about 7:30 a.m. that same morning, two men tried to get into mine and my sound guy. Like we have to share rooms sometimes. And at about 7:30, someone tried to gain access into our room. And not anybody we knew. And fortunately, if it wouldn't have been for that little metal bar like you had just mentioned.
You betcha.
Yeah, those guys would have been in our room in the dark and ready to feed from us. And even when
Now, were you staying in a room that has the word day in it or a number? Those are never the best. You know.
Yeah, it was, man. It was like a Holiday Inn or a Comfort Inn.
You got it. Whatever it has some wonderful word in it. You know what I mean? Sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So now, listen, are you nervous in a hotel room now?
I'm not ever nervous in a hotel room anymore, man. But I just definitely know that you got to keep that bar on and you got to hit that other deadbolt.
You betcha. I do that too. Oh yeah.
At all times, man. And anyone should, whether you're a guy or a gal. You know.
And if somebody's being murdered in the hall, never go out to investigate. Okay?
No, man. I mean, unless you got a piece on you and you're feeling froggy. I mean,
no. No.
Even then, it's up to you, man. But
you know what? Shoot through the peephole. Shoot through the door in the peephole. Don't go out there. All right. Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you. Well, Alex, is Alex still there? Is he gone? What's he doing?
AJ?
You still there?
Yes, I was listening.
Well, you've opened a real, can of something here. Unbelievable. Unreal. So, all right. Well, look, we're going to go away, and typical of the Jay Thomas Show, we're going to take this to a whole nother, you couldn't even imagine, our next place, next thing we're going to stop at. So that's the hallmark, isn't it, Steve, of the Jay Thomas Show? And I understand that Kerry ran from the room.
She had to leave.
Yeah, ran from the room screaming, and she's been replaced by, who replaced her?
By Brooke.
Brooke, thank you for coming in on such short notice. Apparently it was something I said or the subject matter, and she was gone. So,
no problem.
Okay, thanks. I got to tell you, Steve, just the voices of alone over there, wow. Wow. Guys are just so envious of you right now, okay? Mm-hmm. And maybe some women are envious of you with that hunk that you're in that room with,
yeah.
Apollo 13. How about that one? Huh? Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.
More shenanigans from the Jay Thomas Show when we return on SiriusXM Comedy Greats.
Comedy Greats. Iconic comedians on SiriusXM. Channel 94 and on the SiriusXM app.
is not just electing a president. It is creating a political revolution.
We can't turn the White House over to the Republicans again because of the Supreme Court.
The CNN Democratic debate live from Flint, Michigan on Sirius XM.
Dealing with rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure.
What happened in Flint is immoral.
The CNN debate, Sunday at 8 p.m. East on Sirius XM 116. And live reactions afterwards on POTUS 124, Patriot 125, and Sirius XM Progress 127.
If you're thinking about a memory foam or dial-up your number bed, don't buy one just yet. Not until you experience the customizable bed everyone is talking about. The Reverie Dream Sleep System. Reverie uses patented Dream Cell mattress technology with over 200 adjustment points for the most comfortable sleep of your life. Call 877-670-4500 to learn why Hollywood A-listers, athletes, trainers, and doctors are raving about their Reverie beds. It might be Reverie's zero gravity setting that relieves pressure on your back, or the anti-snore function, or Reverie's 101-night guarantee. If you haven't had the most amazing sleep of your life, return it for a full refund. Want to know why celebrities, athletes, and doctors are switching to Reverie Dream Sleep Systems? Call now to find out. 877-670-4500 or visit Reverie.com. That's 877-670-4500 or REVERIE.com.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/great. That's ZipRecruiter.com/great. Try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/great. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/great.
Billy Joel. Sirius XM has your chance to win tickets for Billy shows at baseball stadiums in San Diego, Seattle, Pittsburgh, Philly, Boston, and Washington, D.C., plus a grand prize trip to a show at Wrigley Field in Chicago. For official rules and to enter, go to SiriusXM.com/Billy Joel Tour before March 21st. Open only to those with SiriusXM since before January 8th, 2016. No purchase necessary. The Billy Joel Channel. SiriusXM 18.
Sirius XM Comedy Greats.
Make sure to yuck it up so that Jay doesn't feel self-conscious when his jokes don't land. And now back to the main host, Jay Thomas, on Sirius XM Comedy Greats.
They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. They're playing basketball.
Let's go to John Christgau. John, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Jay?
Sorry to make you wait. We were talking about this Erin Andrews trial, about the sports announcer woman that asked him $75 million from the Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about, and it got wild.
You can talk forever on that.
You know what's funny? It went on for like an hour and a half, and I was really surprised. We have a guy that was covering the trial and all that. And then we had a lot of women called up, and have you ever been scared and all that? Of course, I was saying all the wrong things, as you can imagine. All the wrong things. Yeah. I just happened to mention that she's made millions of dollars since that naked video came out. I didn't want to cast any aspersions, but, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah.
That's it. John, thank you. You are an accomplished author. Do you have a book? Because I'm going to ask you about a specific thing. You have a book coming out that I can lead folks to. We have a lot of folks that are out there all on the road, lonely, and probably need something to take to bed or listen in their headphones today.
Well, the most recent is the book called Michael and the Whiz Kids, which is a story of a basketball team I coached in California in 1969 in a program called Lightweight Basketball for the little guys that didn't have an opportunity to play anywhere else. The program, because of budget cuts, no longer exists, but it was a great team and a good experience, and the best player was a black kid who happened to be the only black kid in school. And so
you had a team of short white guys. Yes. And then you just said, but the best player I'm sorry, but if I'd have seen a picture of that group. Now that's a little bit a bit of a cliche, isn't it, that the best player was the only black guy in the group?
Well, it may be a cliche, but in this instance,
it's true.
It's true, and that's what drives cliches, is that they always have a kernel of truth in them.
Well, I guess so. And so it would be, I'm only like 5'8". How tall are you, John?
I'm 6'1".
Would you have been able to play in this league?
No. And these kids, most of them were 5'2", 5'3", and so they had no place else to go with their
I'd have been a center at 5'8".
Yes, he was. My guy was a center from Latvia who was 5'8", and a really wonderful kid. They all were. And so that's my last book.
So wait a minute.
Well, Whiz Kids.
Right, we'll look at that. But so, like on the pro teams or the college teams, when they bring these big 7-foot-tall Latvians in and stuff, you brought in a 5'8" Latvian to tower over these little skinny kids.
Yes, he did, and he could rebound, and he had the same advantage at 5'8" in that league as the big 7-foot guys have today, 7'2".
I would absolutely have played in that league, and I would have slammed people. Could he dunk the ball at 5'8"?
No. I don't think so. At least I don't recall ever seeing him dunk the ball. But he could do just about everything else. And the black kid who was named Michael Thompson could do just about anything on the floor, but principally he could shoot. And it's just a crime that this game, for little guys who had no future ahead in basketball, it's gone. And so if you're a little guy now and you're not 6'3", when you're in high school, you're not going anywhere.
That's true.
You're just
well, you know what? I mean, that's true. And so what do you do about it? Would anybody go see a league of under 6 foot tall white guys? Do you think watch that kind of basketball? I don't.
I probably not. I don't think they would. And so
I do. I would.
Doesn't matter what height. If you can't play, they're not going to come.
Right. Well, let's go to now. The reason why we called you is I was looking through, a bunch of basketball stuff, and it came to me. This guy was in his 90s. Was it Kenny Sailors? Was in his 90s. And he had just passed away, and there was a big article about him, and I'm reading it, and I love these things. He was, and this is why you're on, and thank you, John, for being with us. He was considered the person, and we're right in the middle of the NBA season, and the basketball is coming to a close very soon. They're going to be the tournaments and everything else. Yeah. This guy, Kenny Sailors, it says, oh, and by the way, he invented the jump shot. And I've never thought about who invented that. And I'm sure a lot of people, I don't know what they thought invented it, but were the rules that you had to stay on the ground until this guy, Kenny Sailors, just jumped in the air and shot the ball?
They were, and I'm somewhat a victim of those rules. I played basketball in Minnesota in the late 40s and 50s, and coaches preached it as gospel. If you leave the floor, you foreclose any other opportunity, and so don't leave the floor. Stay on the floor, and a jump shot, if you jump up in the air, you're not going to play. And sailors face that, as well as the other players in my book, The Origins of the Jump Shot. And
now, wait a second. I want to ask a question. Were there people that knew that the jump shot in the 30s or the 20s or whenever basketball was being played, were like in the schoolyard or out, a sandlot or whatever, were kids doing jump shots, but then when they got into organized basketball, they didn't do them?
They did not do them as much as they wanted, but at some point, probably the late 40s, it became such an overwhelmingly popular shot that coaches realized, I got to play this kid. He's got a shot that I don't like, but it's a good shot. And that was characteristic of sailors. He got his high school coach telling him, stay on the floor, stay on the floor. Why are you jumping to shoot? But then he gets to Wyoming, and he jumps and leaps. He's a little guy, maybe 5'6", 5'7". And suddenly there's the picture in Life magazine of him shooting a jump shot at Madison Square Garden against LIU. And he's high in the air. He's shooting a jumper. I saw that picture. And as a kid in Minnesota, I said, my goodness, if this guy can jump and shoot, I sure can. And so
now was he jumping because everybody else was towering over him and it was a last resort?
Yes. He was born and raised in Wyoming on a farm outside Hillsdale, Wyoming. His older brother, Bud, was 6 feet 5 inches, and Kenny was about a foot shorter. And they had a basket nailed to a windmill a farm windmill in Wyoming, and that's where they played. And every time Kenny got in close and tried to shoot, his brother Bud would slam it in his face. And so finally, Kenny decided, well, maybe if I jump up and shoot, I can get the shot off. And sure enough, he did. And that was, I don't know that he was the absolute first jump shooter. There are a lot of guys who've done research since my book on it who can go back even further, but he's the guy that's been popularized as
Kenny Sailors.
the first shooter.
And unbelievable, because when you attach the basket to a windmill, the windmill is going around. I mean, let me ask you a question. Was it attached to the windmill, or did you have to duck when the blades came down? When you said basket, Steve, did you not think that basket attached to a windmill had to sound odd? You mean like one of those water pump windmills, one of the smaller ones?
Yeah.
Right.
And the blade turned, but it had a structure that went up that was 20 feet. You could nail a basket to the side of it, but it's a nice comic shtick to try to think of a guy watching a basket turn on a windmill.
Well, that's my job. That's my. So now, when you, it is funny because I would have thought. Now, this is the generalization that a black kid would have been a first kid to do a jump shot. That's what I would have thought if you were asking me. I was surprised that there was this little skinny Wyoming white kid that thought of it, but his reason was he had to do it.
He had to do it, but there's another reason why there weren't black kids. They were not permitted to play basketball. The racial stereotypes of blacks, they were too muscular to shoot, they couldn't jump, they couldn't run patterns, they couldn't obey coaches, and they could not take whatever talent they had into any higher level of basketball. The first black jump shooter I found, and there may well have been more before him, but there was a guy in Indiana who played high school ball in Gary, Indiana, named Davidge Minor. And he was the first one that I found, and he was just a wonderful guy. And he was.
What year was that? You got Sailors in the 40s, the white guy, shooting at the University of Wyoming, was it? Was it?
Yes.
Okay, and then Davidge, the black kid, when was he in Indiana shooting?
He was in 1941 and 42. Actually,
Okay.
sailors discovered his at that basket in Wyoming in 1934. And then along comes Davidge Minor 4 or 5 years later, the first black guy I could find who was a jump shooter. And he cranks up a jump shot in the state tournament because his high school team, led by him, was that good. And he kind of popularized the shot in that area. So when I started looking for people in certain areas who were known for having popularized the jump shooter, everybody said, you got to talk to Davidge Minor. Well, I talked to him on the phone, interviewed him maybe a half a dozen times. He was delighted to have somebody pay attention to what he felt was a unique shot, his shot. I said, I'll send you a copy of the book when you send me a signed approval to tell your story. He says, I'm signing it. He goes back to down to the mailbox, drops the mail letter to me in the mailbox, and drops dead at the mailbox.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here. Drop
True
dead
story.
at the mailbox, sending the letter to tell the story of me being maybe the first African American to do a jump shot, drops dead at the mailbox, Steve.
That's correct. He was giving me permission to tell his story. And so he never saw the story that came out in my book, The Origins of the Jump Shot.
Thank God he could push that flag up so that the postman knew that there was a note in there. He had enough strength to push that note, that flag, that red flag.
Well, he was a wonderful interview, and of all the guys, he was the most cordial and the most excited because he had nobody pay attention to him and his game because of the racial stereotypes and prejudices of that period. So to have a white guy, a writer from California, start grilling him about who he was as a basketball player, for him, that was a special treat and an honor.
John Christgau, am I saying it right? Christgau?
Yeah, that's it.
Like Christ and then G-A-U.
Yeah.
Now listen, here's the question. We know the jump shot. A guy comes down against me. You're 6'1", 6'2". You come down against me. I'm 5'8". I got to shoot over you, right? But when I'm wide open and I'm at the 3-point line, or let's say I'm wide open at the top of the key, wide open, or I'm 6'4" and no one's, why is it that the jump shot, why wouldn't you only use it to jump over people or to maneuver at the bucket? Why is it that the the set shot with the two hands isn't accurate? It would seem like you'd be more stable. You're stable on the ground, you're wide open, but we still jump shoot.
You would have done very well coaching in the 1940s.
Well, you know what, Steve? A lot of people said I've been very funny in the 1940s also. I'd have been way...
now, but...
Well, wait a second. No, you mean to tell me that me standing flat-footed and wide open and using my body properly and pushing that ball up there, is it more accurate than a one-handed jump shot?
You're not going to be flat-footed and wide open in basketball today. There's going to be a guy inside your jockstrap.
I know that. I realize it. But I'm asking, why wasn't it isn't the set shot a more controlled shot if you have it?
Sure, if you can get it off, but you can't with some guy who's your height, who's right up tight on you, and who can jump as fast and as quickly as you can. So if you can't jump a split second ahead of him and get to the peak of your jump, you don't have a shot. And so the day of the two-hand set shot, which I had as a young player in the 40s, that's gone because...
Wait a minute, how would you score then if everybody has their hand in your face? And was the game like 12-10? I mean, were the scores really low?
Yes, they were.
Oh, okay. So it was boring. It was boring.
There were game scores that were just that way. They looked like football games.
Wow.
But that era passed because guys who were short and who wanted to have an opportunity to shoot over taller guys, they discovered the jump shot, and it's here forever, and it will be here forever. And this guy, Steve Curry, who is...
unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not just the shot and the accuracy of it, but the range. That 40-footer he buried Saturday night against Oklahoma Thunder.
If you see the picture, there's a still shot. You can look at it, John, and I don't know what newspaper it's in. There is a picture of him hitting it, Steve, and they have the crowd behind him, and you have never seen such sad faces in your life. It's the Oklahoma City people, I'm sure, but there's a lot of them. It's as if your little tiny picture is in the middle of the entire computer screen filled with people that are just really sad. And how tall is he? What is he?
He's
6'5"?
about 6'1". No. His running mate, Clay Thompson, is 6'4", 6'5", but I think he's only 6'1" or 6'2". So he's a little guy. In basketball today, he's a little guy. And I would have been one of those sad faces had they had a camera in my room while I was watching the game, because I was convinced the Warriors were going to lose. And to see this last-second breathtaking shot, it's the most exciting shot I've ever seen in basketball.
Wow.
And it'll be a long time before anybody does that again.
And, his dad, have you seen the commercial where he's sitting in his dad's chair?
Yeah.
And his dad was a superstar.
He was.
Terrific. And I believe, Steve, is his brother good? Not as good, of course.
Not as good.
He's
not even as good as his dad was.
Sacramento, I think, and he doesn't get to play as much, but what I've seen him, he can shoot.
Yeah.
So they've got the gene pool of good shooters.
So John, let me just say, it was Kenny Sailors that you wrote about and I read about, and then in his obituary they mentioned you, and he was considered from Wyoming, maybe the first guy. And give me, what's the black fellow's name again, the dot at the mailbox? We want to give him credit also.
Minor.
Davidge Minor.
Minor.
Dave Minor. Well, okay.
He never got to the pros. He could have been. He should have been. But 1941, there were no black pros anywhere. Mm-hmm. And so Abe Saperstein tried to sign him to play with the Globetrotters. And I think they got $6 a game.
Wow.
And Saperstein came and tried to recruit him and held out $6 to him, and Minor looked at it and said, I'm not going to be a clown on a basketball court. I'm a serious player. Thanks for the offer, but no thanks. And that was as far as his career went.
Before we let you go, they give credit to James Naismith in a gym in the YMCA, and he puts up a peach basket, and he had the kids, I don't know what, shoot rag balls or something in there. Well, I don't know why you're laughing. Is that the beginning of basketball?
Every historian that I know and read claim it is. And, of course, that's why everybody honors and respects him. And the Hall of Fame is based on Naismith, the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I guess it's just the accepted wisdom of the historians in basketball. He's the guy. But I've often wondered who might before him have been fooling around with
the Egyptians. It had to be the Egyptians.
Had to be Egyptians.
No, not necessarily. I don't know. You'd hook a basket to the side of a pyramid, for God's sakes, wouldn't you think? That'd be a hell of a shot, wouldn't it? Be on an angle and it's a jump shot. John Christgau, can I give out your website? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, it's John and then Christgau.com. Yeah.
.com. And I'd love to hear from anybody who's listened or who wants to talk further. I love to talk about the game. Good. And I thank you very much for your interest in talking with me.
If anybody sends you naked photos or videos of Aaron Andrews, erase them immediately. Do not open them, John.
I shouldn't forward them to you, right?
Well, no, don't forward them to me or anything like that.
All right,
hey, John,
Jay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right,
wow.
Bye-bye.
All right, Steve, that was interesting, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, it was interesting. I don't think I've ever had an interesting show before. I'm stunned.
Now listen. You know I work so...
This is Michael Breed, and on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio, we're talking golf all day, every day. Improve your game by listening to some of the best instructors in the world, like Hank Haney, David Ledbetter, and yours truly. We talk about what's happening on tour with former players and legends of the game, like Masters champions Ben Crenshaw and Larry Mize. And we have live play-by-play coverage of your favorite PGA Tour event. If you love the game of golf, check out PGA Tour Radio, Sirius 208, XM92, and on your smartphone on the new and improved Sirius XM app.
I'm just a sweet old lady who needs help crossing the street. But the real reason I want to get to the other side is so I can steal your identity along the way. While you're holding onto my hand, the RFID reader in my purse is capturing all your personal information. Debit cards, credit cards, even your work ID badge isn't safe. Oh, you have an RFID chipped subway pass? Well, now, so do I.
Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses. ID Stronghold pioneered RFID blocking technology over 10 years ago to prevent electronic pickpocketing. Even when your wallet is open, imitators don't do that. ID Stronghold wallets even cost about the same as wallets in most stores, but give you extra protection. Visit idstronghold.com and get the original RFID blocking wallet.
I'm Walt Augustinowicz, founder and CEO. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold.
idstronghold.com.
You know your kids are smart, but did you know enrolling them in Kumon can make them even smarter? Like 10-year-old Christine.
I went to Johns Hopkins and I took a geometry class.
The Kumon method is designed to put your children ahead of their peers in math and reading.
I've been doing Kumon since I was 3.5 years old. Right now we're doing the Pythagorean theorem.
To learn more, visit Kumon.com and join us for a free parent orientation. That's Kumon.com. Kumon, where smart kids get smarter.
When you've got a growing business, every hire is huge. That's why you need Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. With over 180 million visitors a month, your next star employee is searching on Indeed. You can post a job on Indeed for free today. Just go to tryindeed.com to get started. It's easy. Create a job listing in less than 5 minutes and start receiving qualified applicants as soon as today. Visit tryindeed.com to post a free job. Certain limitations and terms apply.
Hey, it's Jim Norton. I'm currently on my Mouthful of Shame tour. I'm hitting 35 cities, so go to jimnorton.com. Hold on, let me redo this because I fucking stink. Hey, it's Jim Norton on my Mouthful of Shame tour. Go to my website for tickets. Oh, I suck. Hey, it's jimnorton.com. Go to... I'm tired. Hey, it's Jim Norton. I'm on my Mouthful of Shame comedy tour. If you want to come see me, go to jimnorton.com for tickets. It's a 35-city tour, so maybe I'm in a city near you, or the city you're in.
Sirius XM Comedy Greats. Sirius XM Comedy Greats. Channel 94 and on the Sirius XM app.
Rediscover some of the most epic, historic Grateful Dead live concerts. Each performance hand-selected by Deadheads as one of the finest in the band's 15-year history at New York City's legendary Madison Square Garden.
New York, not the ways.
Catch unedited, complete Garden Party concert encores all next week, 3 times daily. On the Grateful Dead channel, Sirius XM 23.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-961-9782. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-961-9782. 1-800-961-9782.
I started drinking when I was 13, and alcohol eventually led to cocaine, ecstasy, and meth. The result was multiple brushes with the law, a fed-up family, and bleeding ulcers so bad that I couldn't eat or sleep. I was a bright kid with a lot of potential, but drug addiction had taken away everything that I valued. Finally, my loving grandmother had enough and gave me an ultimatum: go to rehab or get out. And thank God she did. My life is so much better now. I'm a recovery advocate for the I Recover helpline, and I get to help people who are sick like I was. Alcohol and drug abuse destroys families, but there is a solution. I've seen firsthand how well I Recover works, and if you call now, we will pay for your flight to the newest I Recover treatment center in Palm Springs, California. My name is Thomas, and you can speak with me at 877-415-6764. That's 877-415-6764. Call 877-415-6764 or visit irecoverhelpline.com. That's irecoverhelpline.com.
Fuse TV presents Fluffy Breaks Even Tour.
I started low carbing. I'll order a double cheeseburger. I won't eat the bread. I'll eat the meat, the cheese. The cholesterol's gonna kill you. The cholesterol's gonna take 10 years to kill me. Diabetes is gonna do it in 2. Right now, I'm winning by 8.
For tour dates and information, go to fluffyguy.com. That's fluffyguy.com. Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy Breaks Even Tour, powered by SiriusXM. This is SiriusXM Comedy Greats.
This is two-time Major League Lacrosse MVP Paul Rabel, and each week I'm talking about lacrosse on SiriusXM College Sports Nation.
In front for the win!
Lacrosse is America's fastest-growing sport, and every week we'll discuss both college and pro lacrosse, plus talk equipment, strategy, and ways to get your kids involved in our game. It's the Lacrosse Show, Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, only on SiriusXM College Sports Nation Channel 84, and on your smartphone on the new and improved SiriusXM app.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. Right now, I'm holding a book that could change your life. It will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and you worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at the age of 80, well, you need to read this free book. The reality is you'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-941-9575. Are you skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-941-9575. That's 1-800-941-9575. 1-800-941-9575.
You know your kids are smart, but did you know enrolling them in Kumon can make them even smarter? Like 12-year-old Pranav.
I've taken 11 college courses, either physics, calculus, or chemistry.
The Kumon method is designed to put your children ahead of their peers in math and reading.
I like the challenges that I faced in the Kumon program.
To learn more, visit Kumon.com.